Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work on our August bargain bead box. Now, I haven't got a real plan made. We're just going to make a necklace. We're going to use this Howlite pendant that I glued the little succulent piece onto, and this is of course going to be our focal. And then we're going to use some of the other beads that I've pulled out. I've pulled out the Howlite rounds, the big white rounds, the little black spacer pieces. To bring in some of the green, I pulled out the green crystals and the brown, the coconut shell, as well as the little ball spacers and the bead caps. So let's turn down and we'll get deciding what we're going to do with this. Well, as I believe I mentioned, I don't have a real plan for this. We're just going to go as we go. I do have some soft flecks, and I think this was supposed to be chrysoprase and it was a little bit off colored, so I got it as a special at their clearance stuff. But I think it matches really well with the greens, so we're going to use that. As I say, it's soft flex medium. And I've got some 20 gauge Beadalon German style wire, which I'm going to make a hook for this because, let's face it, it is a little low for putting anything else but some wire into it. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to get a piece of this out. I'm probably going to get about a foot. So we'll just cut this off. Because the first thing we're really going to want to do is to make this pendant, because it has to have its it has to be there for when we string things. We don't want to have to try and make it way late. So what I'm going to do, I think, is bend this in half. Now, as I say, I'm playing with this on the fly. I have no idea what I plan to do here. I'm just seeing what we can come up with. Then we're gonna feed her through here and bend her up. So we have the two wires coming through, which will give it some strength. And then I'm gonna wrap them around like so. And then we're going to twist them up and come through this loop here. Come on, baby, come through. Come on. I want these to pull up. And we're going to bend this forward some so that it's even here. Bring these back in further. I want this to sit sort of like this on either side of this point. So we're gonna see if we can get that to do that. Like so. Come on, baby, go back up on there, right like that. Bring these down. Now I'm going to take my pliers, my needle, and make this have a bend right here. And I'm going to do that on both sides. Come on, baby. So that we have sort of a little wrap there, like so. Okay. And since she's not coming quite the way I want, I'm going to take hold of her with my pliers and I'm going to bend it so it does come up here better, like so. As you can see, it's going to move if it feels like it. And I suppose that's just the way it's going to be. Move it down and pull it up. Now it won't move so easily. So now what I have to do is I have to make these extra wires be my be the excuse me, the loop up at the top for holding it in to make the bail. We got a bend I don't like there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little piece of 24 gauge and we're going to wrap basket weave this. Or maybe I'll get some flat wire and just do a regular wrap. That might work better. So I'll go get that out and we'll be right back. A piece of square wire, I think I'm probably about 6 to 8 inches. Let's see exactly how much I've got here. About 7. I said 6 to 8, so I guess it's right in the middle. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to take this, bring these together here, and I'm going to just, this is square wire by the way, and I'm just going to wrap these around this like I would if I was doing a wrap on a cabochon or some such thing like that. So the first few wraps are always a little bit wonky, so don't worry about that if that happens. Just take it and take your pliers and carefully pull them together, and then take your nylon jaw pliers and give them a squish. So now we're about right where we want to be, and we're just going to sit and wrap this all around this. Now I used a square wire. It might have been better if I'd used half round, but I think this is going to be fine. And I actually wanted the thickness of the square. So, and I'm just going to wrap this till I run out of wire. And it's trying to wrap on itself. We don't want it to do that. And every once in a while I'm going to take it. I'm going to check this because it's looks like it's trying to wrap a little weird, and we're going to pull it together with our pliers like so, and then we're going to squish it. And we're going to keep going till we get to the end of our wire. And I notice we're spreading a little bit, so I push that down in there. Now this is going to form the bail right here where we're wrapping right now. So just wrap it around the 2 strands until you run out of wire, just like so. Now we're going to squish it down, and we're going to take our flush cutters, and we're going to cut it off. Now we're going to cut it off on this side rather than the other side, because make sure it's all you got is those. What we're going to do is we're going to pull it around. Okay, now we'll tuck those wires down more. And then I'm going to take these pliers and do some squish, because it will make it be flatter, and that's what I want it to do, is be flatter. Okay, now that we've got that all done, what we're going to do is we're going to take our bell making pliers and we're going to wrap this around our bell making pliers like so. bringing the wires separate here. And then we will see, we have a bell now. And we're going to take these two wires that come out of here and we're going to wrap them around on either side. Now, when you get done doing a little bit of wrapping with these so that they hold good, you can have one of two choices. You can now cut the wire or tuck it in and cut it off, or you can make some coils. I tend to prefer a coil, so I'm going to make a coil. Maybe I don't want it that short, so let's come back over here. So we're going to get our round nose pliers out, and we will start our coils with those. It's just an easy one around. Now, I learned from Wyatt White that you should cut the middle a little bit of your coil off because it tends to square out there at the end. So just cut that little bit back off and then coil some more, and you'll get a rounder coil. So then I'll get my flat nose pliers, grab hold of this, and just ease it around. Now, even though I cut that off, I noticed that it did square a little bit, but that's all right. We can live with that. Okay, now that we've got this coil done, we can push it down and onto here. And now do the same with the other side. So we do our little tiny round. Cut that teeny weeny bit of the end off. Round it some more. And then get our flat pliers out. Now we're going to put that one right in there. So there, one over the top of the other like so. Now I can see that my wires spread a little bit here, so I may try to straighten that out. If I can't, I can't. Get them a little bit looser so they're more uniform at least. That is one problem with using some of the wires. When you wrap them around, they will spread when they come back around like that. And I noticed that this is a little bit off as far as circular. So there we go. So there is our wrap on our pendant, and that's where it will go through the wire. So let's get some of our tools back out of the way here. And we can decide how we want this stringing bit to go. So you'll notice that I've got a relatively good size hole here. Now I can squish this down so it's not so big if I wish to, which I may just do. Oh, don't wiggle around on me, baby. Because we don't want things to be sliding through that hole too much. So there we go. That's better. So now the decision has to be made on what we're going to string, how we're going to string these. And I was thinking maybe some of the little green ones first, because we want to pull the green up into the, but we do have, like I said, the big hole here. So what I'm going to do is probably put a couple of these little black ones in here to fill the hole some as it goes through. And I like an uneven number, so I'm going to put 3 in there, and then a green one on either side of that, I think. So let's cut these loose so we can sort of see what we're doing here. And yes, I've got a mess all around us, don't we? So anyway, what it's going to be like is this is going to sit like so. There's going to be a bead, it will probably, I'm sure, sit right in the middle there. And then we're going to have a green on either side. And then I'm thinking we will use bring our howlite back up into here. But we're going to put some bead caps on the howlite. Where is it? There they are. So we'll have a bead cap on either side of the howlite. In one of these big white ones. Some of the coconut, I think. Now we don't have very many of the big white ones, so we can't do anything drastic to, like, I was thinking, you know, putting one of these on either side again, but I'm not sure that will work, what with only having had 6 of these. So maybe what we will do is get some more bead caps. I think I have an extra one here anyway. And put another howlite on either side of the big white one. Then we're going to bring some more of our green in. But I think how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go with the coconut, the green, coconut, a green, and a coconut. We'll see how that looks. Let's get some of the green over here and another coconut. Let's pull some of the wire out and we'll just work right off the spool here to start with. Starting with what we've got right here, and we'll see how that looks. As I say, I'm going to just work on this off the spool. We're just going to I'm going to put a bead stopper down here because I don't like, excuse me, little beads, I don't like them sinking into my spool so that I can't see what I'm doing here. So let's just start where I've got it left off here. Now I can add chain up the back if I feel like it, because we do have some chain. Let's see. I'm thinking a green on either side of these. So let's get this back off and get some more green on here. So we'll go green, coconut shell. Whoop! Ah well, we have plenty of the coconut shell. So I could just get some more. So So we'll just string these babies back on this with the extra green piece. Sounds like a okay, so we got this, and I sort of like that pattern. So then we'll put on the next section here. You know, I'm going to add one of these little round spacers here before the big bead. See how that looks. I sort of like that, I think, so we're just going to do that. That's the beauty of design on the fly. You can just change things as you see fit. Now we'll put on these three little black ones right now, but then we have to put on our pendant, because these ones, it's going to sit on the top of these. So over we go, just like so, and then go on with these. I need a few more of these little black ones out. Oop, a little more than I wanted, but that's all right. I'll use them. I'm sort of liking how this pattern is going, so we'll probably put it up further too, since we do have a few more of these beads. How did you guys like, who got this kit? How did you like this set? I think it's really pretty. Okay, so now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these black square ones, and then I'm going to repeat this pattern here, just starting from here and going up this direction. So we'll do one side, realizing that we got to keep pieces for the other side. So every time I put one in, I'm going to put one aside so that I can put the other side in too. So I'll put this one over here, put this in, and then we're going to do 4 of the little greens. Put 4 over here, and there's some still over there, so I'm not going to worry about those yet. And we got to get our coconut spacers from over here. And we also have quite a few of these, so I'm not going to worry about those so much. The thing we need to worry about is our bead caps probably, and our other howlites and big white one. So I'll go like this. Okay, now we're going to bring our white back in. So we will, no, we didn't have one of these. It's right here. Get our howlite out. So since I am taking 2 howlites for this side, I am going to make sure that I put 2 on this side over here as well, so that we don't run out. We don't want to get one side done and then can't finish the other side. So there's those. We want one of each of these for this side, one for this side. We have 2 left in case we want to continue the pattern up further. And then I need to find, where did I put my bead caps? Found the bead caps. So now this is one of those, also one of those things we're likely to run out of. So we gotta make sure that we have enough for each side. See, I only have a few left here. So it's going to stop me from changing my pattern, doing my pattern up more like this, because I don't have enough of the bead caps. I only going to have 3 left, or 4 left when I get to this point. So we'll have to see what we're going to do. Which is a pity, because I would have liked to have gone up one more time with my pattern, since I did have 2 more white beads. So now we've got this like this, and we can do one more set of the green beads up either side. Now, like I said, we do need to pay attention and make sure we have enough of the beads, the green beads, if we do this. So this takes 8. I have 4 over here already. Here's 3 for the other one. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, there is definitely enough of the green beads to do one more spill like this. So we will do that, and then we'll see what our length is at that time. So let's get the little green beads out that we're going to need, and our coconut shell. Which we have quite a few of, so I'm not too worried about the coconut shell. Now this one's a really thin one, so I'm going to take it out because these are a little bigger, and we don't want too much size differentiation between our groupings. So there we go, and we'll get the other black ones. So we have one for this side. This is going to leave 1 bead left, so we'll put that aside. It obviously cannot be used with just one. Put this in, and then we will do our 4 beads and coconut shell again. One more set. Now you may wonder what I was doing right there. I was checking for the size. This one is a really fat one, and these 2 are really skinny, so we don't want to use either one of those. So we've come to the end here of this set. Now I only have 4 bead caps left. So what I think I will do is I will put 1 set of Howlite on here on the end, and then we're going to see what our size is, what the length of our necklace is going to be at that point. So let's get the last remaining 4 bead caps out. We'll drop those down here, 2 for this side, 2 for this side. And we'll put, let's see, I need another piece of Howlite, one for each side. Here's the one for this side. And come on, baby, we need one for this other side here. There we go. And we'll get this on here. And then I am going to put one of these little black ones. Now let's measure our side and see how big we got here. What did I do with the other bead cap? I thought I had one right here. Or I mean bead stopper. There we go. So we want to know what it is from here to here, because if we're done with one side, this is it. And this is about 9.5 inches, so it would be 19 inches. And I'd rather it be a bit longer than that. So what I am going to do, I have to think. I'm going to cut this same length of wire off the other side and get it strung, and then we'll decide what we want to do. So let's get some wire off of here. I'm thinking I want this at least 20 inches, so I'm going to, and I think that's only not, was only 9. It needs to be at least 10 to be 20 inches. Yeah, it is. So we're going to have to give it some thought on where we want to take it from here. But we don't want it to be too horrible. Okay, so we'll cut it right here and put our wire aside and start stringing the pattern up on this other side. Come on, baby, go on there. Okay, now we're at the same spot as we were on the other side. So let's move some of these things out of our way, some here. Get our bead stopper on. Make sure it's tight enough. Compare our two sides to make sure they are the same. And we're looking pretty good here. Yep, everything is the same. Now at this point, because I do have the two more white beads, I could put these on here. The only problem is I cannot go further than that because I do not have these any more bead caps. So now the question becomes, what do we want to do to make this, to continue this? So we are at, this right in the middle here. We are at 9.5, so we're at about 19 inches. When I put a clasp on, it will be about 20 inches. So I'm seriously debating if we're done. I do like it. I think it turned out nice, though it is a little dark. But I think I still am going to go with it all right. It doesn't bother me that it's a little dark. It's because of the coconut beads sort of overpowering the green here. See how much lighter the green looks down here where the white is at? And if I wanted, I could take the coconut beads out and put the little black spacers in. But I don't think I'm going to do that. But what I do need to decide is where I go from here. Do we add another green bead and a couple of the little black beads up this other side over here? We could do that to give it a teeny bit more length, and then it would just mimic the bottom down here. Or do we want to figure out something more to continue on? Now, like I say, I would like to put the big white bead in, but there's no, I can't continue the pattern to do that. So I'm going to see how long it hangs, and we'll see if I want to do anything more. Okay, I do want it to be a bit longer. So I am debating how I want to do that. And I'm thinking I actually want some more of the little howlite in here to give it some differentiation here between here, to maybe lighten this up a little bit by not having the black right next to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull part of this off over here, just in a straight line, so I know exactly what I'm doing with it. And from right here on, which is where we started, if you'll recall, when we went and started this second side, and I'm going to put one of the little black beads here in here. And these howlite are not going to have a cap, and there's just going to be one on either side of the black. I'm going to see how that looks, and I'm hoping that that will do what I want it to do, to add some lightness to it, so to speak, and to add that extra little bit we need. So now see how much lighter this looks just having these white ones in here. So I'm just going to finish stringing this up again, and then we'll do the same on the other side. Come here. One thing about doing design on the fly, sometimes you just want to rethink what you originally thought of, because it just doesn't really do exactly what you want. And that happens when you're doing it as a regular design you've made too. There's been many a times that my design changes just a little bit as we're going along. Now see what a difference that made? We brought the white back up then, so that really lightened that up a lot, quite a bit. So let's finish up this side and we will get the other side done. And I think we probably added at least the inch I wanted of extra space on either side. So here's this side done again. And I do like having the white the howlite in beside the black. And that does, well, that's going to make it about 22. That's going to be really nice length. I like that. So we'll go over to the other side here, flip this around, pull this off, and redo this piece here from here up by adding the extra white. Now when I'm pulling loose, I try to keep my beads in the fashion, you know, in the pattern that they're already in, so that all I have to do is just pick them right up and put them back on. So let's get our howlite out that we're going to need. We need 4 more pieces. So let's get those out, put these aside. and get going on putting these on here. Oh, I needed a little black one. Oops, sorry for bumping the camera. Now if you pull these off just right, you can just go right up the line with them and to go back in. But I don't think these beads are of a size that will do that, but we'll see. And up the line to finish this off. So we just got to get this last little bit on, and then we have to figure out our clasp. Now they did give us some clasps in here, but they're pretty small, and I think that the weight of this is going to call for something different. So I have some magnetic clasps that I'm probably going to use. Okay, now that we have that done, I am going to even out my threads, and we'll measure this and see how she's doing. But that's much nicer. I really like the white in here with the black. It really lightened that up quite a bit. So now that we have that done, our necklace is now at, it's going to be 22 inches, probably close to 23 with the clasp. So I think that's a really nice length. So we'll put the other beads all up, and we'll get our clasp out, and we'll get that put on. Okay, so I've got a magnetic clasp out and a couple of crimp tubes. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can put crimp this directly on to your magnetic clasp, or you can put it on with a jump ring. Now I'm debating, but do I want to put it directly on? Look at this. This is strong enough, it's grabbing the wire. And that's just, you know, the steel is in the core in there, but it's strong enough that it will hold on to it. So anyway, I think I'm going to just hardwire it straight to it. Now if you do it with jump rings, then if you wish, you can change it to a different kind of clasp in the future. I am just going to go. I'm not sure if it will go through these others. It looks like it might. Well, it will go through this one anyway. So it'll go through a few of these. So I'm going to send it through a few of extra beads, and then we're going to pull it up, and we will get our crimp pliers out. Now I use the magical crimper. You have to use a 2x2 crimp tube with these, and you just put this in the divot and tighten it to the wherever you want it to as far as a loop is concerned, and then give it a squish, and then turn it and squish it again. Now when you're using a magnetic clasp, you're going to have to hold your clasp because it's going to try and grab onto your crimp, onto your pliers, any metallic item that you've got close to it. I think this is already crimped well, so I can give it a tug test, and it is. So we're going to move our beads up, cut our extra wire off here. So you can see it's still holding that other side of the wire because it is holding the wire. So crimp that off, and we will move our Oops, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I want the beads to stay on here, and we want them to roll around. So that we've got our other side to be crimped. So let's just roll the beads down till we get to that other side. It's right there. And because you don't want it to be stiff, just let it stay in a roll like that when you finish pushing it around, because that way it will not get too overly tight when you put your crimp on. So where's the other end? Because I need that magnet. There it is. It's hanging on to something else here. They're very good about hanging on to everything. So through the magnet, pull her up, go through your crimp tube, and now since this will go through beads, we're going to put it through 3 or 4 beads. At least 3 or 4 beads. And then we're going to pull her up tight, push the stuff down, including the crimp, pull it tight again, and continue doing that till you know you've got it as tight as you want it to be. See, I've got just a little bit more I want to pull up here, and we've got this gap here, so we want to pull this down again. See how that is? And we just pull. Okay, got a gap again, so let's get it down there. Pull again. And I think we have it pretty good now. So we need to give ourselves a little space because we got to get our crimp pliers into that gap right there. Slide her into place and squish. Now I accidentally let it get some space, but we're not real tight yet, so it let me pull it. So now hopefully it did tighten this time. It appears that it did. Good. And so now we just have to clip our extra wire off here. And our necklace is done. There we go. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? I decided not to use these, so we'll put them aside. We're done with these. And here is our necklace, all finished. And I do believe it is 23 inches to the pendant. So if we hold our, and we've got, yeah, it's almost 24, but 23 to the pendant. And I think that's going to be a nice length for it. And hope you enjoyed watching me make this. I know it took a little while because we went and redid a few spots, but I think it's really pretty. And there is our August bargain bead box necklace. Now the only thing I used out of my own stash was of course my beading wire, my crimp tubes, and my little magnetic clasp, and some wire to make this bail here. So that's what she looks like. And I think it turned out really nicely. And yeah, I like this length. It's right there by the cleavage. So yeah, very nice. So there's our necklace. And I hope you enjoyed making this with me, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden.